What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 most underrated defenders in Rainbow Six Siege. Before we go any further, there are links to my Twitch and Twitter in the description below, so make sure you go check those out. So, lots of operators are very highly regarded, very high pick rates. There's operators like Jaeger, Doc, Echo, Maestro, Valkyrie, Vigil. All those operators are picked pretty much without a doubt on the majority of your defensive rounds. But there are going to be lots of defenders. In this video, we're going to be focusing on 5 of them that aren't picked as much and should be picked more. Our 5 most underrated operators are going to be Mira, Goyo, Castle, Legion, and Kapkan. First, we're going to be looking at Mira. So Mira is a 3 armor, 1 speed defender, obviously, and the reason why I think she's so good is because of her black mirrors, right? She's really good on Cafe, honestly one of my favorite maps to play her. If she's unbanned, I will pick her a lot if we get the necessities like Jaeger, maybe some type of anti-breach, some type of intel. But what makes Mira so good is just looking at her mirrors, for an example really quickly. So obviously from this way, if you don't know, you can see perfectly, but on this way, you can't see, it's a one-way mirror. But what makes it really good is the ability to use Mira as almost like use the Mira to see farther and then be able to make angles with her secondary shotgun to get long-angled peeks and kills. For example, with this Mira, you can see all the way through piano, through this bathroom wall, through that bathroom wall, all the way to piano, see the majority of the windows, and then once you have everything set up, you can maybe, if somebody's repelled, shoot them there. If they're pushing from the breach towards the freezer wall or towards Pixel, you can shoot them here. And with her mirrors as well, you can, and her shotgun, you can make holes to throw nitro cells through. So you see somebody maybe pushing into freezer, you can easily throw your nitro cell, get a free kill. Pretty much whatever you need, Mira can do in the ways of angles. As basically, you're only limited by your imagination with Mira. And the reason why I think she's very underrated, she usually, I feel, doesn't get picked as much as she should, because especially in lower ranks, people aren't gonna know how to beat a Mira, right? For example, when you see this Mira, if you're pushing as an attacker, you don't even need to be behind the Mira as a defender, because it looks like somebody's there and they're not gonna wanna peek this Mira because somebody might be back there and quickly peek and shoot them in the face, especially because most low rank players aren't going to know how to counter a Mira, because this is indestructible, right? This is concrete and you can't do anything from the freezer ways. It is destructible, but you can't shoot the Mira. You have to shoot this red gas canister and then you can shoot through the Mira and you can shoot back. But the only way to counter this would be off of this window. But even in higher levels, you might be able to run out of some of these windows outside, run out of Whitestairs window or Pillar's door or even Heaven and counter that. So really, it comes down to the Mira is really strong in the lower ranks. I'm not saying she's bad in higher ranks, but most lower rank players kind of panic when they see her at Mira. I like to ban her a lot because I think she's a pain to deal with. Especially because you never know if somebody's behind the Mira and will just quickly lean out and shoot you. So the next operator we're going to be talking about is Goyo. He's been one of my favorite operators since his release, but he did get nerfed pretty heavily. Not just him, but also Cade because of the TCSG-12 nerf, which nerfed this gun from doing 84 damage to 57 damage. I think it was well needed because from this range you could 3-shot somebody, rather now you have to 5, 6, or even 7-shot somebody. So it just made him weaker and thus his pick rate fell a lot lower, but he's still good. His utility is still the same. He still has a nitro cell, he still has his 2 Vulcan shields, and what you can do with him is very creative. It's basically limited by, again, like Mira, your creativity, and you can really make round saving plays with Goyo and his shields. For example, this is a pretty good Goyo setup because you're on the staircase, you can watch through these slits in the shield onto Pixel door. You can quickly stand up, push up, shoot somebody like that. If they're getting aggressive on the door, you can pop a Goyo shield, slow them down, do some damage. And with that Goyo shield being popped, if they're getting aggressive on this hallway, they won't be able to survive. I was in there for probably less than 3 seconds. I took 50 damage. And they won't be able to push from bathroom or from Pixel through bathroom or bathroom to white, whatever it may be. So he's really good for this, and you have 2 of those shields. So let's say maybe you're playing aggressively in Pixel with like a shield from Lomai. That gets blown up, you fall back behind this shield. You play a little bit here, go for a quick peek. You don't want that shield to be blown up because then you can't really have this peek. But basically, you play a shield there, then you fall back. Now you're behind more shields, you blow one up, you waste their time. Now they get more aggressive because they know that shield's taken away. This is still a really strong position to be holding, but they push up even more. You blow up the other shield. It just wastes time and does damage. And he's very strong still. He still has his nitro cell. He only lost his impacts for proximity alarms, but that's not too big of a deal because I feel most people still would use him for his nitro cell. The third most underrated operator we're going to be talking about is Castle. I think people really write Castle off because he has arguably the worst gun in the game, the UMP. It does okay damage, but has the slowest fire rate out of any automatic weapon. And he's not really a flashy player. He's not like Pulse, who has a cardiac sensor and has a nitro cell, so he can nitro cell you through the floor. But he is arguably, in my opinion, one of the most useful defenders in the game. And the reason for that is his Castle barricades, his armored barricades. They're bulletproof, takes 12 melees to break them. I really like using Castle for this site because of his barricades, because they can cut off lines of sight really, really well. So for example, if the attackers are pushing white or pushing freezer or pushing down white, pushing pretty much this VIP area, your roamers are protected for their rotate down brown or gold stairs, whatever you want to call it, because they can't get shot through that white door. I like putting one on coat check because these barricades funnel the attackers through VIP and then funnel the attackers through this hallway, as opposed to being able to go around this hallway through the main lobby area, through coat check, and now be in the hallway. It really just funnels them down. And then same with this Castle barricade, make them use a rotate here, just because it funnels them to one spot. Pretty strong. And then with his bulletproof camera, I like putting it here. I like using bulletproof camera over proximity alarm just because I feel like I get more intel. I can see all the way down this hallway and still see outside small bakery window. So I know if somebody's pushing bar or pushing Kojak or pushing road or pushing small bakery. And he's just really strong because he has, other than the UMP, I think he's the perfect operator because he can cut off rotates, he can make rotates, and he can gather intel. Even with his super shorty, you can create long lines of sight. You probably wouldn't want to hold this with the UMP, but you can make long lines of sight to be able to watch things like in this example, bakery door. Really strong, really good idea to do. His gun isn't terrible, to be honest. It has no recoil, which makes it really easy to continuously spray and hit heads with. It has an angled grip, has an extended barrel. It's not too bad. If the fire rate was just a little bit quicker, it'd be arguably one of the best guns in the game, I feel like. So the second most underrated operator I'm going to be talking about is Lesion. Lesion used to be considered, I feel like, one of the best operators in the game before his Goo Mine nerf, where basically you used to be able to see them all the time throughout the map. Now you have to be within direct line of sight and within 8 meters, or else you can't see them, right? They still are translucent, they still are hard to see, but when you walk across them, they don't do instant damage. You more just get that slowing effect, but it still is really good. And the reason for that is because it's free intel. So for example, let's say off of our castle example, you have the castle barricade here. Let's say you put a Goo Mine here, right? You put a Goo Mine maybe on this window. I don't know why these don't deploy in custom games, but it's weird. And you put one on brown stairs, right? So now you have all of the intel you need to tell if you're being pushed. Because let's say you have castle playing coat check. Now you can tell if you're being pushed from brown stairs, that window, or white hall. And let's say you have a shield here as well from like a Wamai or somebody. Now you can hold this really effectively because you have your impacts to make rotates. So you can make another rotate right there. So you can get back to sight. You can peek white behind the shield. You can peek main. You can peek this window, peek brown. And you have all of the intel. You have 8 Goo Mines, I believe, is what they regenerate up to. And it's just really good for gathering intel, doing some damage. And what makes them very good, especially in this meta of not having a lot of time to push onto the objective, if you put a Goo Mine on the door to sight, if there's like, let's say 10 seconds left or 5 seconds left, and the attackers are running into sight, if they step on a Goo Mine, they can't sprint, so they have to walk now. And you can't plant the diffuser without taking the Goo Mine out of your foot first, And I've lost rounds because I couldn't plant because I've had a goo mine inside my foot and there's been like 5 seconds left and I can't complete the 3 to 4 second animation and still be able to get the goo mine down. So that's why he's really, really strong in my opinion. You can hold him on site, putting goo mines around the objective, or you can roam with him like a soft roam like I showed in VIP, or a hard roam upstairs, maybe make an impact hole here, be able to watch from upstairs. Pretty much, he's a really flexible operator that can give you intel, do passive damage, stop the plant, has really good guns, make rotates, pretty much can do it all. Now, the most underrated defender, in my opinion, in the game is Kapkan. The reason why Kapkan is so strong, he's like Lesion, except he only has 5 traps, but they do instant damage. They do 51 damage, so walking into 2 traps kills you. And pretty much he has the same principles of Lesion. He is really good, especially late game, when the attackers don't have enough time to run into site and check every single door. They just got to get in and plant. They just run through, can trigger a Kapkan trap, and either lose the round, die, whatever it may be. And that's actually really, really strong. His guns are pretty good. I feel like what really holds him back is having the Russian sights, which are arguably the worst sights in the game. And other than that, his gun's actually pretty good. The actual stats, his pistol is really good, both of them. He has either a nitro cell or impacts. I prefer using nitro cells just because stopping plant, especially if they're on lowered health because of a Kapkan trap. If you're able to get a nitro cell maybe this far away, you'd be able to probably do enough damage to kill them as opposed to having to be pretty close to them. And like Lesion, you can use your traps for roaming, putting them off site, or you can put them like Lesion again closer onto site. But I feel like the one thing that Kapkan has over Lesion is all of his traps at once, and his traps do more damage, right? But you might argue that Lesion is better because his are invisible and he has more of them, and you can't plant while you have a goo needle in your foot. But I just think it's not who's better. I just think Kapkan is more underrated. So I hope you enjoy. If you did, remember to like and subscribe. I stream pretty much every day, link in the description below. Thank you for watching and peace out, gamers.